Being joined by the amazing Karen Powell, who is going to talk to us about how we can turn our conversations into business, which I'm pretty sure, Karen, is a long time ago how we connected when we were
absolutely
getting started in the world. We had a conversation. I think it was a small business festival event.
I think it was, but it was back in about 2013. So It's ages ago now.
It's been a while.
We've been sharing the journey, Linda.
We have been sharing this journey. And Karen and I, for those who are joining us, have just been talking about the joys of COVID and having to come online and those sorts of things, not being able to run as much as we both like, because we're both face-to-face trainers, although I have made the world move into online, just how that is changing the things that we are doing right now. So Karen, welcome to today's skills webinar. I'm just going to give everyone a few more minutes to find us. We've got a couple of people popping in. If you are watching the live stream, I'll be popping into the chat box every now and again to have a look at what's going on. If you need to talk to me, feel free. And I will try to catch up with everything that we possibly can. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on LinkedIn today as well, because, you know, we just want to make sure that we get the message out there to as many people today, Karen, about the importance of conversation when it comes to business.
Absolutely. Conversation is just important in life, and so many people just miss opportunities because they're not tuned into the value of a conversation. So, and some people have often said that I know how to have a conversation, but I just sometimes query whether there are things that they could be doing better.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we are making the most out of our conversations. I can't see the chat from LinkedIn on my Facebook on the Restream setup, so I'm just going to bring the LinkedIn live version up here. So I've got it on screen, and then I reckon we'll get started.
You're a technical whiz, Linda.
Oh. I just have access to the technology that allows us to take our conversation further.
The things that we have had to learn in the last 18 months or the last 5 years is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, look, for me, going online was a little bit earlier in my journey. So I'm going to pop that over here. Okay, I can see chat everywhere now. Woohoo, yay, what's that? Okay, welcome everyone. This is a great session. We're going to have a great session today. We've got lots of people watching and lots of people joining us from all over the world. Let's have a nice little cut so we make YouTube look pretty and the replay look pretty, shall we, Karen? And get this thing. Yeah, no, there's still a control freak with me in there. Now, for those of us who are joining in the session today, let's actually start this with a conversation. Pop in where you are, what you do in business, and how you help other people into the chat so that we can all get to have a conversation. And while you're there, let's do a little bit of networking. Pop your Facebook page, your LinkedIn, your website, whatever in there as well, so that we can all have a little bit of networking along the way today. Hi everyone, my name is Linda Reed-Enever, and welcome back to another skills webinar session where we get to talk about things that will work for your business with experts. Like our expert today, we have Karen Powell. Karen is an absolute connector, an absolute person who knows how to network. She's the founder of YTM Networking, and we have known everyone we've known Karen throughout this journey for a number of days here, 3 years here. Sorry, I just got a chat box pop up. And we've known Karen for a number of years throughout the process. Karen and I have known each other since I started Family Capers. I was running a parenting site. We were talking that we met over a conversation back in 2013 at the Small Business Skills Festival, which is now no longer in existence, which is a little bit sad in lots of ways.
It is, isn't it? Because it was a great networking opportunity.
It was a great networking opportunity. Now, I've been to a number of Karen's events. Karen's been to a number of my events. What we're going to delve into today with Karen is talking about having a conversation and how that can turn into business. So, Karen, welcome to a skills webinar.
Thank you. And thanks for having me, Linda. Do you know, this is my very first webinar. I'm usually on the facilitation style and not usually the guest. So thank you very much.
That surprised me when you said that to me before the session today. Well, we're going to work Karen through the webinar area. Now, I've just had Rick say to me that he's not getting audio, but I've checked the live streams and Karen and I can hear each other. Is everyone else getting audio? Can you just give me a thumbs up if you are? I'm just going to check the live stream again and make sure that it's still got audio. That surprised me when you said that to me before. Everything's coming through this way, so I think we're okay. And Karen and I can hear each other. Yep, Belinda's got audio. Okay, we're going to assume that it might be a technical thing. Just check Rick, on your Zoom where you've got the little microphone down the bottom, just check that the audio isn't going through a microphone or something like that, and just change the speakers around. You've got a little drop up there. We're getting thumbs up on LinkedIn. There's the audio. We're getting thumbs up on Facebook. There's audio. And YouTube, yes, I've got a thumbs up as well. So we must be okay to go. Okay, Karen, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone and explain a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. I actually have some slides about that, which I will go to very shortly, but I am the Network Catalyst, and I'm also the founder of YTM, and I help my clients get what they need and what they want through conversations. And it's just so great to be here with Linda, and both of us have teaching in our background, and many similarities in the way that we value education and how important it is for us as business owners and just in life in general. So I actually wanted to start with, to understand a little bit about what people think makes a good conversation. So I was wondering in the chat box if they could put what makes a good conversation.
That sounds like a great idea. I will watch Facebook and YouTube as well and see what we get.
Okay, and I will share the screen while they are typing in there.
That sounds like a great idea.
One thing we didn't practice when I was setting up before.
Down the very bottom, you should see a bright, big, bright. Yeah, there you are. You're there.
Yeah, I know. It's just slideshow from the beginning.
There we go. You've got it.
Okay, excellent. So turn your conversations into business. So a lot of people have said to me in the past, I know how to have conversations, and conversation is something that I do all the time. And I understand that. I understand that we are having conversations and talking, but sometimes I think we miss out on the opportunities that are actually there. And, a question that sometimes comes up at a networking event or whatever is, what do you do? And the response can be, basically a job description and not really the impact that you have on your clients' lives and how that can change things. So a conversation is a two-way process, and a lot of listening is involved in that conversation. It's really important to be tuning in to what's being said. And there's often hidden opportunities in there. And if you're not listening deeply enough, they can just pass you by and you're not really aware of them. So I base my 3 essential things that you need to have the conversation on connection. And that's when you find out what people are looking for, how you're connecting with them, the knowledge that they have, the experience they have, and that's how you can build your own knowledge and work on your business as well. From connection point of view, I'm the founder of Your Time Matters, as I said, which is a business community, and it provides connections, knowledge, opportunities, and support. And I connect people. I ask them who they want to meet, and I put them in a room, whether it's on Zoom or in real life, and they get to have conversations. And click the next one. I've been running the event since 2013, and I've actually talked with more than 3,000 business owners in that time, face-to-face in most cases, and really have learned a lot about what troubles business owners and what they're looking for, and observe the way they use conversation and observe the way they communicate. Last year, we had to move online, just like everybody else, and that's actually been really good for us. So from going from 11 events a year, we've now gone to like 36 and able to help people and connect them from further afield. So contribution's a really big part. So one of the other C's that you have to have is contribution. So how do you help your client? How do you help them achieve what it is that they're after? What it is that drives them? How can you contribute to their growth? Because when you contribute to their growth, it's a great feeling of satisfaction and you're making an effort. Business is a wonderful community that connects business owners, and the contributions are boundless. This skills webinar, for example, is a perfect example of Linda's community contributing to the well-being of others.
Yep. Exactly. And, we love connecting.
Absolutely do. And here comes the teacher part of us, because through the events that I've run at YTM, we've had over 250 business insights on a range of topics. And as I said before, this is actually my first webinar, because I'm usually the facilitator and the organizer and not really sitting in the other seat. So, but I think learning is just so key. And often we just don't know what we don't know.
Absolutely.
So through YTM, there have been so many conversations, and through the book that I wrote and the podcast that I now have as well, I help to share stories of what other people are doing. And all of those facts have all come from conversations. They've all been instigated by finding out what people do, why they do it, how I can help them, and how we can work together to help them achieve what they're after. And the community is not just a business event. It is not just YTM. You're all part of a community. You're part of your school communities. You're part of your past work community, your neighbourhood, although you might be in lockdown and not seeing so much of the people that you love, except on a screen at the moment. But community is a very broad term. And when you connect with community, when you can contribute to community, then you live a much fuller and richer life. And business is so important, obviously, because we all need an income and we all need to be able to achieve our dreams, but we also need to feel fulfilled and to have a purpose and know that we can create an impact when we're not around anymore. So in 2018, when I launched my book, I became the network catalyst rather than just the founder of YTM. And I believe that anything is possible when you've got the right support. So I help my clients get what they need. I grew up in a small business family. My parents had a caravan manufacturing business, and small business is tough. I heard lots of issues about cash flow and sales and how we're going to make the next payment on the vans that are being delivered and how we're going to promote at the caravan and camping show. All these conversations that caused friction in my family. And I could see that there was, right from a very early age, that there are so many challenges and that we need to have knowledge and support to be able to cut through these things. Without them, our dreams, our relationships, we just can't achieve them, and our businesses can suffer. So conversations that you have must never be underestimated. You must never make assumptions, because until you have a conversation, you really don't know what it is that that person can offer to you on so many levels. And it's not just from being a client. It can be from being a supplier or a referrer, a friend to help you get through the tough times. So one of the things that comes up a lot, and I'm sure Linda would agree with me here, is frustration. Frustration that you don't know where your next lead's going to come from, or you don't know where your next client is, or you don't know how to write a blog, or you've got no idea how to market your course that you've written. It can be very, very frustrating, and you just are really at sea. So Robin is an example of someone who is a small business owner. She used to work for a bank, and she decided that she'd go out and set up her own business. This is a fictitious story, but she wanted to she had gaps. She didn't know where her next client was going to come from. She knew that she had 25 years experience in what she'd been doing. She knew she was an awesome accountant, and she knew and could actually change business, but she didn't know how to make the business grow. So what Robin needs to do is she needs to have a conversation with herself. Her very, very first conversation is with herself to understand how valuable she is and what an impact she can make on someone else's life. She needs to be thinking, why would they work with me? Why do they need me? What problem do I solve? How do I help my client? Where am I going to find my client? They're all questions that a business owner needs to ask themselves. And these are only a few. There's hundreds of them. But if you can understand why you're different then when you get in the situation of having a conversation, you'll be able to respond appropriately without selling, but coming from a space of helping. Another thing that comes up that is a problem is disconnection. Now, David, he used to work for a corporate, and he decided during COVID that he would take the retrenchment package and start up his own thing. But he was lonely. He used to be in a team, and now he had to make all the decisions himself. He didn't know how he was going to stand out, how he could show that he really was a great financial planner. He really didn't know how he was going to create the conversations that he needed. He really was just also lost and feeling alone. He had the questions to answer about, how do I write a business plan? Where can I find the help? How can I find my next client? Who can I talk to? Am I the only one that feels like this? And we know that no.
The answer to that question is no.
I'm sure we can all go through these and think, even if you're not feeling that space now, you have felt it at some time.
Yeah.
And part of conversations is to reframe what you hear and what you learn from other people, and constantly be building up how you could perhaps help them. Because if you come from a heart space of wanting to make a difference in someone else's life, then you also make an imprint in their memory and their approach towards you in the future. Underconfidence, that imposter syndrome. I tell you what, Linda, in the middle of the night last night, he was on my shoulder saying, Karen, who are you to be giving a webinar? And I had to give myself a shaking up and say, Karen, you know this backwards.
And I must admit, as a coach, I'm a little bit proud that you're out here doing this, because this webinar came from one of the workshops that Karen was doing with me. And the first thing I said is, book it. Just book the spot, get in there, have a conversation. I was surprised it was her first webinar, because she does facilitate and she does teach very well. And I think everyone now should put their thumbs up and say to Karen, they want more stuff from her, because the imposter syndrome, while it's sitting there, she does know her stuff, and she does have amazing things like courses and those sorts of things that can help you through this journey. So yeah, and by the way, we all go through imposter syndrome. Absolutely.
We do. We actually have a session tomorrow, which is about fear and overcoming fear. And I've been reading Amy's book, and, imposter syndrome is a fear. It's about being judged. But when we actually know, and, going back to Robin, she knows she's a really good bookkeeper and accountant. So she doesn't have to feel that imposter syndrome. She needs to be able to know that she has the skills that she needs. And of course, David, he has the skills of financial planning, and who doesn't need that these days? We all need to be having a plan.
A little bit of financial planning goes a long way.
So we need to be constantly reassured, and sometimes it can't just come from ourselves. And when we're having conversations with other people, we understand that we're not alone, that other people are actually feeling exactly the same way as we do. And that's quite comforting sometimes. So this is Maria, and she just needed to connect the dots. So she was in a similar situation. She'd gone out and she'd started her own business. And when she went to a networking event, she met David and Robin, but she missed opportunities because she was so nervous at being in the environment and so busy to sell that she wasn't listening to the struggles that they were having and the challenges that they had, and how she could actually introduce them or connect them or do something. So she also knew that why was she thinking that she was the only one? It was because she hadn't connected. She hadn't been building up her confidence in what she did. She hadn't been thinking how much she could learn from the experience and knowledge of other people. And she couldn't think how she could also grow her business by using knowledge that she gained along the way. So as I said, we're not alone, totally not alone. And you know what? The solution is right under your nose, because everybody has wisdom. We had an event last week, and everybody had to give a 3-minute section on what makes a business thrive. And at the end, I asked people what they gained from it. And the thing that came out all the time was, from every conversation, you learn something. There is something that you take away from it. In fact, this morning I went for a walk with one of the YTM members, and she was telling me that she had just bought a $24,000 rug for a client. I nearly fell over on the path. And she said to me, Karen, I wouldn't have got that client if I hadn't invested in building the relationships and the conversation with that client along the journey, because who would take my word that they should spend that amount of money on a rug? And she said that was because of what I have learned about the value of having conversations that dig deeper and connect and build that know, like, and trust. So you need to make every conversation that you're having count. And that doesn't mean just at a networking event. That means from the minute you get up in the morning and you're getting your kids ready when they are going to school, to the mums that you meet in the schoolyard, to the people that you meet at the gym, to the guys that you bike ride with. They're all people that have needs, contacts, and a ripple effect can start from the conversations that you have. So think about where you have your conversations. I'm sure you don't only have conversations at networking events. I'm sure you don't only have conversations with your client. If you are, then you're missing out on so many opportunities. Who are you talking to? Who are they connected to? What's their role? What's their interest? What do they need? I guess I got to understand a lot of this when I was working in relocation and helping international families move into Melbourne. And I was like their lifeline. They didn't understand Melbourne. They didn't understand the schooling. They didn't understand the housing. They didn't understand the football rules. They didn't know anything. And being able to help to fill in those gaps and to connect them with what they needed within the community and to contribute to their welfare was memorable. And you can help. How often are you at an event or a barbecue or whatever, and someone's talking about a family member who is having trouble with buying a property, organising their financial plan, getting the parent into aged care, marketing their business, starting up their business? It's not just at a networking event. And when you talk to one person and help that person with maybe a contact or some information, you're starting a ripple effect, because it actually goes out past there. And Linda and I've talked about it so many that, on this call, say there's only 12 people on this call, which I highly doubt, but if there are only 12 people on this call and each of those people is connected to 100 people, do the math. So I'm talking to 12, but I'm actually connecting with way more.
And we can multiply that by about another 40 viewers that are on.
And the thing is that the thing is, it may not actually be right now that the need is there.
Absolutely.
The need, people will not buy or use a service or whatever it is until they have the need. A YTM member's been trying to get me to use Microsoft Teams for quite some time, and I've been resistant. But no, I've learnt Zoom. I don't need to go to Teams.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a project at the moment with a group of people, and we use Teams. I had to learn. I set it up, put it all organised because I had to. So you have to have, your clients have to have the need.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I was also able to go back to my YTM member and say, oh, I need your help now, right now, to make this work. So that is one of the things. You want to be having conversations that build that know, like, and trust, so that someone will reach out to you or to refer you on when they identify the opportunity or the need that's for you. So I put together a course in lockdown last year about how to start and improve your business networking. It's on Thinkific. And a lot of people they think their network is their family, their neighbours, or whatever. Through the course, what I do is show you that your network is so much bigger than that, and how to tap into those areas of your network and how to plan along the journey. But anyway,
going the link into that course. I popped it in a little bit before when I spoke about it, but I'll pop it back in for you again and let everyone know. I just popped the wrong link in. I just popped in the details for the upcoming events. But I'm getting there.
That's okay. I'm glad. I like things when they're real and authentic.
Yeah, it's all about lives and mistakes. Now, Karen, we actually have a question, so I want to go back to that before we lose it. Otherwise, we'll lose it. I know I will. I have a lot of Zoom meetings with potential collaborations with overseas people. I generally ask questions and dig a little bit deeper, but what are the good questions that I should know if the other person is a good business fit? Should it be as open as what is your experience? How can we monetize what you're suggesting? Or what else would you suggest would be a really good question to ask?
I think you need to, I've actually got a blog about building strategic partnerships, and it's really important to make sure that you've got the same goal in mind, that you are on the same page, because you're working together and it reflects on your brand and your ethics and whatever. So I would be wanting to look at things like past testimonials of people that they've worked with previously. I would be wanting to understand why they chose you, why they saw you as a good fit. How is this going to be a win-win-win situation, a win for you, a win for them, and most definitely a win for the client? I think I would want to know what problems they could foresee happening, and getting those sorts of things up front. So just off the top of my head. So, and I'd be keeping them, as I'm going on to this next bit, very open. Don't let them just say yes or no. You want to actually dig deeper. And
I might add one to that one. Being the founder of business, you'd understand we get approached for this stuff all the time. We want to do a partnership with you. And I go, okay, so what was it on our website, or what was it that you saw about us that shows that it's going to be a really good connection, and how do you see this running? Now, the ones who don't answer that or are stunned, I know are just going through the process and just selecting out stuff. So how do you see this working? And if you can go, they give me a very generic answer. BBB is a very specific type of community. We're very open, supportive. We don't cut ourselves off to any type of business owner as long as they play nicely. But we do that process. And if they can't show that they've gone to our website or they've gone through those areas and tell me how they see it works, the girls will tell you we've got like 90 partnership requests backed up at the moment that we're working on it and doing those sorts of things. So it's also about valuing your time in that process. So that's one of my favorite open questions. So how do you see this working? What attracted you to us?
That's so funny, because I had a conversation with someone just recently, and they said, so you're into time management. And I couldn't help myself. I said, I don't think you've actually looked at my website at all, have you? So, you want to be well equipped if you're going to be the person reaching out as well.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And also the same goes really with marketing emails. I got some the other day with somebody asking me to set up a time to have a talk to them or whatever. I actually spent an hour with that person not that long ago. So I knew it really come from perhaps a VA department or something like that, and that it's just unauthentic.
And we can all see through it, guys. We can literally all see through it.
you really need to be authentic, I think. So that's the way I like to see the world anyway.
Catherine, you are very welcome. I'm glad they helped.
So keep the questions open. So as I just said before, don't ever, try not to ask questions where you get a no or a yes response. You want to be able to build on the conversation that you're having to be able to get to the next part. So obviously a question about what has been the best part of your day, you can use that with your neighbour. You can use it with somebody that you work with. It's a rapport building question, a conversation. But from there, you can also tap into how they've spent that day and who they might be connected to or what they've been doing. Because if they tell you that they've been to a golf day, for example, then you get a bit of an insight about the sort of people that they might be spending time with and the needs that they might have. And of course, all of these things just help you to gain insight, because when you're building your business, your conversations can help you test the market. They can help you test your pricing model, whether it tests your proposition. nobody might want what you're creating or you're putting your heart and soul into. So the conversations, Linda's laughing. Have you had experience in this area?
I might have had some clients come and ask me to market something that no one wants. Yes, possibly, maybe.
Yeah. Well, often we think that we have got the world's best idea because we can see value, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the market will see it. And that, therefore, in your conversation, you can really test out whether they think it is a good way or a better way to handle the problem that you're trying to solve.
Absolutely.
So each of these questions, and there's hundreds and hundreds of them, of course, help you to work out where you can best fit in. Is it by creating a connection? Is it by contributing some knowledge? Is it by introducing them to a community that you have? For example, you might be a CPA accountant and you could introduce a productivity supplier to the accounting clients that you have. So you can be a conduit, and that sort of connection and conduit is a valuable place to be because it builds your network, it builds your trust factor, it builds your relationships. And basically I'm saying to you is that conversations open doors, and the relationship is the key to the business that you're wanting to create.
Absolutely.
So if you don't start the conversation, the door will just stay shut. So you need to be having those conversations to build on those relationships. I'd like to just share this story. So this is Michelle Jelliff on the left-hand side, who is the CEO and acting chair of the START Foundation. Now, the START Foundation empowers amputees with a sporting dream. And I ran a co-working day about 3 years ago, and Michelle came along. I'd never met her before, and she came into the room and there were about 14 people there. And we got to find out what people were doing and what they were working on, and she told us all about START. Now, we were pretty impressed that START could help people to create a sporting dream. And, one of their functions is to provide grants. And we decided that we wanted to provide some money towards a dream for Sarah. And Sarah had a double amputee. She'd lost her a bilateral something or other, it's called, from her knees down when she was 8 years old. But she had a dream to run the Bridge to Brisbane run. And she wanted running blades that START were going to give her. And so we donated some money. And in the course of all the conversations that we had about this, Sarah lives in Brisbane, and we invited her to come down to a YTM dinner, which was about teamwork and collaboration. And she talked about how through teamwork and collaboration with START and YTM and her family and her prosthetic person and her PT and whatever, she was going to be able to run this event. So that room that you can see is full of business owners who were attracted to come together to be part of a community and to have dinner and to grow their business, but were inspired by a story that showed grit, determination and perseverance. And in fact, one of the YTM members went up at the end to Sarah and said she would never complain about going to the gym ever again. Because as Sarah explained how the feeling of bouncing on the blades was something she'd never experienced. Mm. So through whatever we do as a business, we can change lives and we can create a positive impact. And it's just the depth of the conversation and the investment of the time that you put in to having those conversations and building those relationships that matters. So you want to be asking questions about, how can I help you? What do you think is the best way? Would you like an introduction to? How could we work together? Simple questions, but can change your business. I like to think about my view of the world is to change the view from what's in it from me into how can I make a difference?
Absolutely.
How can I help somebody achieve the goal that matters to them? And when we recognize the importance of those connections that we create and the community that we can belong to and the contribution, you have the power to change things for yourself and to make life better for other people as well. So there's various ways that I help people. And the starting point really is the course on how to start a network, improve your networking. Because I think a lot of people are missing opportunities because they don't recognize the extent of their network and how to tap into what's available. But a way to see if that's where your big gap is to take this test, which is will identify your strengths and your weaknesses that you have with turning conversations into business. And I can put that link into the...
Pop it into chat and I'll pop it across the other platforms as well.
Yeah, okay. And it will look at how you use conversation for your lead generation, for your connection, so that you connect with people who can help you and the knowledge that you need to run your business. It will look at your ability to reach out, just a whole stream of things. And then what I'd like to suggest is if you take the test is to then, oops, why is it not moving? Is that I can suggest that you book a discovery call and we can look at your results, and then I can help you work through what's the best next steps for you, whether it is to take one of the other courses, to start coming to YTM events so you can practice talking about your business and making those connections, or how the best way I can help you, because my role in life is to help you achieve what matters to you. Absolutely. And I hope that you've got some insight today about the value of your conversations and focusing on how can you connect, how can you contribute, and what difference can you make in the lives of other people.
Fantastic. Karen, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to throw it open now for people to ask questions. Just give the live streams and everything a second to catch up to us as well, because they're a little bit behind us here in the Zoom, but that's how it works. That's why you're coming to the Zoom, guys, because you get to be here live with us and immediate questions. So if you've got any questions for Karen or myself about how to have a conversation and how to turn it into something that matters, that is great. I'm just about to now go through the next lot of courses and training and stuff that we have coming up in August. I think I'll rename August Learning Month here in BB.
Excellent. I love it. I love it.
It is definitely amongst, okay, so our webinars and what we've got coming up, we've got creating courses and challenges from what you already have tomorrow with me. There is still a chance up until 5 o'clock this afternoon to get a ticket into that one. We're going to take the knowledge you already have and work out how you can use it for lead magnets or courses along the way. On Tuesday next week, we have got the amazing Grace Duffy from Restream joining us to talk about how we can run courses and challenges using Restream, which is a streaming platform, which is what has us going out to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn all at the same time, as well as being here on Zoom today as well. So I'm sure to next week's stream is going to be even better because Grace is going to teach me some stuff while we're live. On the 18th of August, oh God, it's a big week.
Fantastic week. It's like a little summit.
On the 18th, it is. I didn't actually plan it like this, but it's ended up being like this. On the 18th of August, we're doing Marketing with Impact with Colton Bradshaw from CartStack. Now, Colton is going to talk about abandoned carts and recovering things. So especially if you're a course creator or you're selling e-commerce or ebooks or stuff on your website, this is a session that you really want to get into, because Colton's philosophy on how we actually recover existing customers or customers who've shown interest is amazing, and I cannot wait for that session. We do have a short form video content working day on the 19th at the Victoria Hotel. However, we are waiting for what COVID-19 does to see if I can open up any more tickets to that one. So I'll let that one go for a moment. The next one that we want to talk to is about We've got John from Wisebank coming back and joining us. Some people from earlier in the year might have noticed John. John actually teaches us how to use our analytics. So how to use our Xero, our different analytics that we have within our business, and how to look at those analytics. And Wisebank is a free tool. So I suggest jumping on that webinar and having a really good look at it, especially if you're a course creator. That's going to be a really big one to get into. And then we have got Jenny Wright joining us from Vancouver in Canada, coming to talk to us about turning our leads into clients, because as much as we generate leads, unless we actually follow up and do something with those leads, all those conversations we are having today, Karen, we're not going to get any results out of them. Absolutely. So I have included in chat the upcoming list and the links for everyone to be able to have a look at what our next round of events are, so that you can jump on it. Register space is limited. As much as we aim to go live stream, we can never guarantee that the tech is going to work for us. So make sure that you jump on your opportunities to join those sessions as soon as you possibly can.
And they're so important, Linda, because the conversation that comes out of them, so many people just don't realise what's there. They just think they know it, and they just need to dig deeper. So it's just sensational.
Absolutely. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's a big month full of learning.
Fabulous. I love it. I love it.
Did not plan it this way. It just happened to be that all the bookings came in August. Okay, guys. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very fun. You can join myself also, guys, on Facebook for Tips Tuesday sessions every Tuesday, where we talk about different tips and things to help market your business. Now, Karen, where are you popping up live? Because, now the coach is coming out. I mean, where can we find you on a regular basis?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Beautiful.
There are Your Time Matters pages, and there are also Karen Power, the Network Catalyst pages as well.
Beautiful. Oh, I know what I've done. Karen, thank you very much for reminding me that I have not been posting anything in the chat that anyone else can see here on Zoom. So there's a list of all the events. I apologise, guys.
I could read
also
it.
posted links to Karen's course and then a whole heap of other things back publicly. This is actually a really good learning moment, okay, because we are managing multiple things here, and I didn't check whether my messages were going out to everyone. Karen's course details are there, the events are there, all that stuff is there. And I want you to remember, the one thing that you learned from that, what I just did, is it doesn't have to be perfect.
Absolutely.
It just has to be out there.
Yeah, I think that's the value of being authentic and real, and it provides opportunity for people not to think they have to be perfect either. So absolutely. I think that's really important. I think that's the teacher. It's give it a go. What have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. So, Karen, thank you for joining us today. I don't see any questions coming in, so we must have covered our topic incredibly well. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with our community.
Thank you very much for having me, and it's great to be part of the community and to watch the growth. I believe so wholeheartedly in community and also in learning, because I have this vision that everybody has their own gift and we can't know it all. So we're like a kaleidoscope and we learn from each other all the time. So it's
absolutely
fabulous.
And for those of you who are maybe attending this session for the first time today and don't know this BBB group or this thing that we're talking about, I will also pop the link into the chat for the Business Facebook group, because sometimes, Eventbrite brings us one or two people that didn't know us from there. So you're more than welcome to join in, have a conversation, join the community. It's fast-paced, it's big, but it is a supportive space. And we've been around, God, do you know this is 8 years? This will be our 8th year.
Yeah, same. We're in the same journey. It's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing.
8 years.
All those conversations.
All that insanity. I'm saying that I was going to, all those conversations, yes. All that insanity of running a Facebook group. No, I wouldn't change it, guys, because as I said to someone the other day, our job is to lead both in the good and the bad times, and we have been absolutely privileged to support our business owners through the negotiation and minefield that is COVID-19, and watch them grow and adapt and change and do things like coming online like Karen has during that period as well. So it's been exciting.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see growth. I think that's very important.
Such a teacher thing.
It is, isn't it? But you also, from a teacher point of view, you have to learn how to do it yourself first, and then you can do it.
Yeah, that is right. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Karen, thank you once again for having us. Catherine, you are absolutely welcome. I'm glad you've enjoyed our session. I will see you all next week, hopefully, at our session with Grace. remember, you can learn skills along the way and then put them into action when they're ready for you. You don't have to act on them right now, but you can have those conversations and join us for a few more conversations along the way. And Karen, before we leave, you do have one conversation that everyone can follow. Can you pop your podcast link in for everyone to be able to go and have a listen and continue the conversation with you after today?
Oh, that's a good point, Linda. Thank you. And there's some really interesting stories on there. In fact, I'm hoping to record another one this week about some work being done in the Northern Territory. So it's always insightful. And I've lost you.
We'll be here somewhere. We're still here.
Oh, there we go. Lovely.
There we go. You've got Karen's podcast as well, guys, and I'll put that into the live stream very, very shortly as well. Thank you for joining us. We will see you same time. Well, not same time. We'll see you 9:30 Tuesday next week if you're joining us. Otherwise, we will see you around in our next training sessions. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.